Mike has a young family, and he has actually a new family, if you want to think about it in terms of most members of Congress. It's tough. I talk to him sometimes. He say he hadn't seen his kids in 6 days. It's a high pace. President Trump has a remarkable energy level, and he drives hard, and everybody around him has to keep pace. He likes Mike. President Trump, I know, really likes Mike. And for the fact that he's going from an appointed position to a cabinet position will tell you how much he wanted to keep Mike around. But there's a family balance that a father of young kids has to have. You want to be there to raise your kids. And so I don't see it as a shakeup at all. I see it as a transition to still keep Mike in an advisory position to the president.
I'm sure that there will be quality of life improvement, but that's not why this is happening. This is happening because the president doesn't want him to be national security advisor.
Well, you're making that assumption. You're making that assumption. That isn't what's been said.
Well, it's reporting from people inside the White House. I mean,
yeah, but people leak like a sieve, and people have their own assumptions inside the White House too. I know that Mike was really missing his kids. Mm-hmm. I know the president really trusts Mike. I know the president is still putting him in a nominated position, in a cabinet position, to be over the UN for the United States,
right,
and be advising directly to the president. So when you really start thinking about the position that the president's done, you could make the assumption too, if we're making assumptions here, that Mike was wanting to have a little bit more family work-life balance, and the position with the UN is exactly what he could do, or how he could make that work.
Well, you're a good friend, but let me ask you, because
Mike.
So what are the notes to start with tonight, and how you doing, everybody? And I'm starting with that video specifically.
I'm starting with that video specifically because this guy here, has just been fired. He's the first of the head that will roll under this president. And for all his efforts, he's one that was actually scapegoat on the issue of the recent leak to Cigna during the military operation in Yemen. So I'm guessing he's the first scapegoat. But a lot of people are saying that it's just the first, but he's the first of many to come. And the reason why I started with that video is that a congressman don't seem to know exactly what their job description or prescription is anymore. These days, what they basically do is become advocates for all sort of people, making these presidency look good. It's their job not to actually make sure these presidency work better. They're not vested in actually making this presidency work. They just want to make this presidency look good. And no matter how they're trying to paint the picture, the presidency is looking really horrible, unfortunately, for every one of us, because it's affecting everybody. Not just some of you who are, have to carry the burden of shame for actually electing these presidents. Even for those who did not support him, now they all have to face the consequences. But that is just by the way, Walz became the first head to roll under the Trump second administration. And many today are saying it's just first of many to come. And even though this senator here from Oklahoma, Mark Wayne Mullen, he's having to sing his praise all along that the reason why he was fired is not because of the Cigna problem, is because he has to go take care of his newborn baby, his family. We've had that before, right? Yeah. You see, many of you will roll with it, not because you believe it, but because you turn yourself to an advocate of the presidency. Actually, that is the wrong job for those who voted for him. For you voters, if you really want this president to succeed, advocating, polishing him, and making him look good is not your job. Trust me. It's not. For the people, for the masses, that's not your job. And I don't understand these days, this worship of leaders, this worship of our political officials. I don't understand where do you think this is gonna get you? These literally worshiping these government officials these days is dangerous, dangerous for you in particular. And that takes me to our topic for today, which is the real issue that is going on with this country at the moment, as we are fighting hard in between tariffs and surviving unnecessary tariffs, I would say. Unfortunately, or fortunately, I would say for me, I taught economics for many years in the college. Yes, here in the United States. And there's one thing that I've always emphasized for my students is that in the age of globalization, tariff is just a cake. It's as simple as that. It's a cake, as in is completely outdated. Tariffs can't work in this age of globalization. It doesn't work. In the past, it hasn't even worked, really. Yes, it will raise some money for some people, but not for the country. In general, the country usually don't benefit from tariffs. Because when I say in the age of globalization, I really mean what I say, because in the age of globalization, these leaders that we have today in the country, they are telling us that, the countries around the world are taking advantage of the United States. That is what they want you to believe, that countries around the world are taking advantage of the United States. China is taking advantage of the United States. Japan is taking advantage of us. Even Canada, that has always been a very good trade partner, a very good neighbor, is taking advantage of us. But it's a lie. It's the other way around. It is the other way around. It is the United States of America that is taking advantage of everybody else. Now, let me give you a very good example. You know what? I don't even need an example like that. Let me just put it this way. America has been leading the world economy for how long now? Since many of us have been alive. America has been leading political power, not just economy, political power of the world since you and I have been alive. I mean, I've never known any other country who can share that stage with this country, United States. So you want to tell yourself that America just find itself so powerful politically and just find itself so strong economically that they lead the world for so many years. So many years. I'm here about 50, and I happen to know only one country who is a superpower, who is a superpower economically, who is a superpower politically. I only know one country, and that is the United States of America. So you are just going to suddenly now wake up from nowhere and tell yourself that the power America maintained for so long, the economy power they maintained for so long, that they have been taking advantage of America. That's the way it works. No, you eating that up and really you believed it? That America has been taken advantage of? Sorry, guys. It's the other way around. It's the other way around. When the USAID was closed, more or less, by Doge, I know many of you were celebrating, oh, enough of giving all this money out. But guess what? Nothing comes for free from the United States of America. Yeah, they're giving all this money to all these countries to help give them aid and all that, but it's not free. If they are making you believe this, stop believing it, because look, I've witnessed both countries, the countries that actually receive some of these aid and United States of America that give out the aids. And I can tell you categorically that it is not free. It is either America gets a cover from this country, which they are paying for, which gives them the political power, the political edge that make them the number one in the world when it comes to warfare. And they've remained that for as long as I know. So they are paying to maintain their power politically. They are paying to maintain their power warfare. They are paying to maintain their economic stability. Nothing goes for free. I mean, for you citizens of this country, here in this country, how many times have you actually gotten any money from this country that you don't pay back in one way or the other? Nothing goes for free. You always say this. You think America is so stupid to come and just be flaunting money around the world? No, that's not how it works. Every penny that goes out of this country to those aids in all those countries, they get 10 times back in fold. 10 times or even more. In kind, in oil, in mineral resources, in all of it. And there's, in fact, many American businessmen will not tell you the real truth, but they are all over these countries. All over these countries, making tons of money, bringing it back here, but they don't invest in you. And this is what everybody have been telling you. But guess what? This idea of patriotism is not going to make you listen, because once they tell you that you are better off than the other, you don't care how much you're losing. You just believe that you're better than the others. But guess what? China now is just about taking advantage of us. It's been very hard for China to do that. But now, just because of all these mess, just because of all these tariffs, they are just about to start taking advantage of us. I will explain that part before we end this show. I will explain that part before we end this show. But first, let me roll my first tape here. Let me roll my first video here, which is the main reason why we are here today. The issue of the tariffs and what tariff has actually cost us lately. So I'm adding the first video here. This is actually from MSNBC because you've been hearing for lately that there's so many ports that is empty. Some of you probably don't believe it, but there are a lot of cameras that have gone around the United States that have actually seen these, and it is as real as you can imagine. If the port is empty, okay, the ports that is supposed to be expecting foreign goods exportation and all that, if it is empty,
we are on the water outside of
if it is empty, that tells you that there's a lot of problem that we are about to face unless it's averted. But I do not see this administration avoiding this problem.
Outside of the port of Long Beach, this is one of two massive Southern California ports where, of course, we're talking again about tariffs. There's a lot of worry, as you can imagine. About 40% of the nation's imports, 30% of the exports come through these ports here in Southern California. And what it's really caused is sort of an inverse reaction to what you might think. There's more goods coming through. The Port of Long Beach is reporting in its first quarter about 2.5 million of those containers have already moved through in the first 3 months alone. That is a record number. It's because a lot of these companies want to front load their freight, push their freight forward before these tariffs really have a huge impact. And if they stay the way they are, specifically with China, there's no way it won't have a massive impact, both here at the port where they're expecting maybe a 10 to 20% reduction in the amount of cargo that comes through, which may have an impact on jobs, but also on store shelves, impacting consumers. There's no way it won't have an impact there as well.
Okay, so what you just heard is that a lot of companies are trying to get all their goods in before it is too late, before the tariff caught up on them, which they are doing. But here is the problem. The problem has already happened. Okay, this is not about avoiding the problem or avoiding it. It has already happened. It's just that we need to limit the amount of intensity this is going to have on the general populace of the United States. Because since the announcement of these tariffs, especially on China, there's a lot of cargo that has been completely canceled, stopped. But you see, the one you're seeing right now in this port are those that are already on the ocean, on their way to the United States before those tariffs were announced. Now, those last batch have arrived. That's what is going on now. Those last batch have arrived. But rather than you having a flow of containers coming in, the last batch that have arrived is the only thing that we have. So that means nothing else is moving from China. Nothing else is moving from many of these countries. So what's going to happen next? It means even if these presidents reverse his course and remove all the tariff and even bring it down all the way to zero, yes, we're still going to go through some tough time. Okay? Before the next shipment of importation start moving from China to arrive in the United States. It's going to take a while. It's going to take a while. So how long this is going to be for, this is going to happen for everybody, I do not understand. But I know definitely we have to go through some empty shelves. We have to go through some hardship before those things arrive. And that is only if this president reverses course today, as I'm speaking to you, today. But because he's so arrogant, because he's so proud, and he knows he already make a big boo-boo, and everybody's trying to clean it up, but he don't want to, he's the last person who will ever admit there is a problem. But we already have a problem. I don't know how you want to put it, how you intend to explain it, but we already have a problem. How long this problem is going to last, we don't know. But all I know is that if these presidents announce today, as I'm talking to you right now, that he's reversing course on the tariff, even at that, we are still not going to be okay for a while. Because it's going to take a while before those next shipments, after the tariff has been reversed, to start taking shape or to ever arrive here. So how long that's going to take, I don't know. Because for now, today, there is no announcement yet that he's reversing course. And we know the president have come over and over to keep telling everybody, oh, the China have called me, they are begging. But yet, the only thing we keep hearing from China officials is nothing of that sort ever happened. So it's another lie. China don't care, because this is one thing I told you earlier in previous shows, that China is already prepared. They are prepared. The moment they see that this guy escaped going to jail, he was convicted, but he didn't go to jail for things that he had actually obviously done in this country. The moment they saw that we are completely joke, that someone who initiated an insurrection is suddenly now having a ticket of a major party in the United States. The moment that happened, guess what China started doing? They started making alliances all over the place with Africa, with countries around Asia, with Russia, with countries in North America. You will be shocked and surprised how many efforts China has made to create new alliances with Mexico. So why our president is chewing Panama Canal like a gum, China is busy building another canal with Mexico as we speak. As we speak. So they are already blocking places in order to be able to show themselves up, to be ready. But you know the funny thing? The funny thing actually is that the country that actually introduced the tariff war is the only one that is not ready. I mean, you would think that we are the one planning it, we should be ready. So suddenly, and I have a flashback when this president was asked during the campaign if there is any plan. Remember what he said? Remember exactly what he said? He has a concept of a plan. Concept of a plan. But guess what? Concept of a plan is not going to save us now. A concept of a plan will not save us now. While he was dilly-dallying with concept of a plan, China is busy securing a plan, making it go to war, so that just in case this man comes back with a tariff, they know exactly how to escape that. And that is exactly what is happening right now. And that is why China is busy giving him a middle finger. Even before he say, they already finished his sentence. They finished his sentence. They block all the importation or exportation coming out from China. They block the port immediately. And they increase the tariff on their own too, as a retaliation. And so what's the way out now? What's the way out? Because guess what? China is categorically saying that they will make sure America is the country that will come to the table and beg. And beg. That is, look, if there's any offer on the table, that's exactly what they are saying at the moment. That's exactly what China is saying at the moment. Guess what? Look inside your homes. Look in your shelves. Look in your closets. Look all over around your house as I speak. Do you find anything there that is made in America? Any? I will give you a second. Go look. Go look and look around your house, Americans. Do you find anything there that is made of America? If you find it, put it in the comment section. Let me see. But guess what? I don't have to ask you. If I say go look for made in China, probably all over your house is made in China. Your plates, your spoons, your pots, your stove, your TV, your wife, your children, your dogs, all made in China. All made in China. And tell me again, why are we here in the first place? Because you really believe that China is taking advantage of us. No, it's the other way around. Our billionaires with their corporate business have been going to China for years with your jobs. Make these products at a very cheaper rate. For example, sneakers, Nike is as low as about $10 to make one sneaker. But when they come here, because it's Jordan, they're going to sell it for about $400 and you keep buying it. You keep buying it. Literally everybody laughing at me before because I use a very cheap phone. I don't use iPhone. I don't use iPhone. Personally, I just hate it. I just hate it. I do. Unless I need it, that I don't have any other usage that is the only time I'm going to have it. But I don't need it that much. And so people laughing at me for using a cheap phone. But guess what? The phone I use is much, much better for me because it's worked for me. But guess what? Those iPhone that these made in China at a very cheap rate, they are just scamming you guys with it. I know this for years because I've traveled down there. I've seen it happen. And so nobody can bamboozle me with this. Look, I'm a businessman myself. I like to make money. So if I know you're selling the product, it doesn't matter how quality that product is, and you are swindling people, you are scamming people with that product, I'm not buying. No matter how sophisticated that product looks to be, I am not buying because every thinking, every mindset that I have is making more money, not spraying out more money. If I want to give, I'll give to the less privileged, not these same billionaires who have been actually eating us up. And that's what they've been doing. Here's another video. On TikTok by this guy here about the pot literally empty. And they've been talking about this now for a few days now, and it's getting worse. It started with Los Angeles pot, but now it's been all over the country, more or less.
This is the Seattle port today. This is where all of our imports come in. My whole life, I've always seen Maersk, M-A-E-R-S-K,
I'm guessing she meant in Seattle.
or Huilan side shipping containers. This has always been full of shipping containers. Not today. And before any Republicans come in here, this has only ever happened one other time. And basically, this is a text message between me and my mother where I showed my mom this because the only other time I've seen this was in 2020 when this asshole was president and that thing happened last time. However, my mom was like, oh, it was like that in 2008 to 2009. My mom was 30 in 2008. I was 15. So I really don't remember that time super well. But she does, and my mom has now officially made it very clear to me we are in 2008 level recession because the fact that this looks like this never happens. I can't remember a single time outside of 2020 when it looked like this, but this is my mother, my mom, who is now 47 years old, saying that, no, this was also exactly what happened in 2008. You can see it from this angle. There's no ships coming in. There's no ships leaving. And there is literally no cargo, oh my goodness, shipping containers. There's just none. Like, it's wild, you guys. And, like, I don't think you guys also understand. I went to the store today, and at QFC, there are empty shelves. If you go to Walgreens, there are empty shelves. It's already starting again, just like last time. And just like last time, Republicans are saying it's not real. They're going to say it's not real the whole time. And, it's insane. This is insane. It's absolutely insane.
I can understand how she feels, if she's actually making this video in tears. Because look, for people that actually have family to take care of, that have kids to take care of, this is scary. This is scary. And, she made one very good point. She made a lot of good points. For one great point that she made is about highlighting 2008 to 2020 and currently. You know, personally, 2008 is very fresh in my mind. You know, very, very fresh in my mind. Of course, 2008 is the first time I will ever be laid off without no issue, because I don't get fired easily. 2008, I was laid off simply because of this recession then. And again, in 2020, I was asked to, you know, we can't cope. That's what my employers tell me. And I have to see it at home. Now we are there again. We are there again. Just 1, 2, 3 times within my experience here in this country that Republicans, look, I hate to point finger to anybody or a particular party, but look, there's no other way to explain this, that Republicans have led us into nothing but shambles. And I always say this, Americans, you are like Israelites, you know? Like every time God lead them out of Egypt, and every time they feel like everything is okay, they keep complaining. And then God is going to solve that problem immediately. Once they feel comfortable, guess what? They start complaining. The same thing in this country. George Bush, a Republican, ruined it all in 2007. In 2008, there was an election. There was a recession. And every company I know laid off. And many went bankrupt. And so the Democrats elected Obama, came back, fixed the problem, fixed the mess. In 2020, the same thing. And when it all started, guess what they will be saying? They will be telling you that it's not real, it's all lies. Oh, blah, 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 blah. And you keep eating it up, eating it up. They said if it happens once, maybe it's a mistake. Twice, well, maybe you don't judge it well, but the third time, the error is you. It's not them. Fool me once, it's on you. Fool me twice, look, I'll give you that. It's on you. But the third time, the third time, I think we all know that the fool now is the voters. I'm sorry. The fool are just the voters. I don't know, how else are you going to explain this? The first time, in 2008, the other party came in and fixed it. And then again, we went back in 2020 with COVID-19. Yeah, you're not going to blame the president for COVID-19, but he mismanaged it. He could have been better managed, but he mismanaged it. And before you know it, the whole street shut down. The whole jobs shut down. We stayed at home for a whole year. Are you kidding me? A whole year? And before you know it, the whole country is in another shambles economically. And then just 4 years after, and you keep asking this silly question around the country, were you better off? Are you kidding me? Were you better off than you were 4 years ago? That was a question during the election. And I keep laughing it off like, are you kidding me? Really? That how much of my lifetime have I sacrificed into believing that America is a smart country? Almost all my lifetime. Until I come here and I figure out, are you kidding me? No, it's not that smart as we used to think. I keep telling people back home now, like, look, never make yourself believe that America is a smart country. No, it's not. Because there's no way we can have a group of smart people in this country and yet walk into the same pit of hell the first time, the second time, and now the third. It's even funny, this third time is with the same person. This third time is with the same person. Are you kidding me, really? Seriously. Now, here's the last video that I found circulating about these issue in our parts, okay? There's a third video that I found. This one is a truck driver driving around, and according to his explanation, he has visited some of these ports before, and he can tell the difference between then and now. And he can also say there is a sharp difference from what he is saying.
Right.
Right.
Right here, right there. You can see the cranes right here. You should see.
Can I roll this down?
Yes, you should see up top of 3 ships just docked. There's no ships right here in the water. You should have seen the ships. They say that like that cruise one should be ships on the other side.
As a matter of fact, the only thing I see here in this picture is a cruise ship, not a cargo ship, not a container ship.
Right
That's
here,
the only
it's
thing I can
empty
see.
as well. You see those middle rows right now? Let's see. There should be containers on that middle row. It's empty by those 2 trucks over there, just parked. You should see containers.
So what he says is those green metal installed, those green things, you know, they are like a crane that actually help ship to dock so that they can unload it. Those are literally empty. I'll go back a little bit so we can see. Those are literally empty. Those should have ship on it, unloading. That is, according to his explanation, that is where the ship docks. So they dock there so that they can actually be unloaded. But that's the scenario that we are hearing all over the country. You know, okay, the independent media are not the only one reporting this. If you are looking at us and say, who are you to tell us this? Yeah, the independent media are not the only one reporting this. After we have been saying it, the CNN are welcome to the party, as usual, late. The MSNBC are welcome to the party, as usual, late. Because for them, they would like to verify and do all sort of things. But you look, we have people on ground, you know, yeah, they have too many jobs in their faces right now trying to polish these administrations, so they don't really have time for real news anymore. But we try to have people on ground to verify that this thing is real. It is real. That the ports that is supposed to be receiving cargoes, containers from foreign countries is practically empty at the moment. And that is to tell you what is to come. What is to come. As a matter of fact, look, it's not funny, but the Chinese are basically laughing at us. You remember when this president says they're laughing at us, but they're not going to laugh at us anymore when I become president? Yeah. They are laughing at us right now. Yeah, basically. I have one, I'll show you. There are tons of it. Just go on TikTok and search China response to US tariff, okay? Or something like that. You see tons of it, of these videos of these Chinese basically laughing at us. Laughing at us. And just so you know, it's not just Chinese laughing at us. Almost everybody around the world are laughing at us. Are laughing at us. As in, really, now we are nothing but a laughing stock. It's as simple as that. There's no pride anymore in this. But we have a president who is not going to admit that he made a problem. He made a big mistake. So this guy, and you need to look at the name very well, okay? Let me just put it wide there. Bod Ha Wang something, at Bod Ha Wang on TikTok. Yeah, go search for him on TikTok. Go search for him on TikTok, and you just see tons of video he's making from China. Actually, he lived there a few years ago, he says. And look, he's having fun right now at our expense. I'll let you listen
Hello,
to this.
Marga. Do you have eggs in your home? Do you have toilet paper in your home? Oh, you still have it. Wait a few weeks. By the way, this high-quality toilet paper in China, only $2. Hello, Marga. Do you have eggs in your home? Do you have toilet paper in your home? Oh, you still have it. Wait a few weeks. By the way, this high quality toilet paper in China, only $2.
See, it's not funny. I just play that just to show you what is going on. This is just a snippet of the dragging, literally dragging that the Chinese and other countries around the world are unbelievable. See, why are we here in the first place? Can anyone really explain in this administration why we are here dealing with this in just 2 months after this administration? Because I believe nobody can explain this. None of them can explain this. None of them can explain this because it makes no sense to anyone. But I know why we're here, because I said it exactly before the election. Incompetence. That's what I'm worried about. I'm not worried about Project 2025. I'm not worried about all these, idea that looks racism and all these white supremacist things, or these Christian nationality or stuff. I'm not really worried about all that. Look, every administration have their policy and they can go either way they like. I don't care. But what I'm really worried about is competency. I know that is what this administration is going to lack. Okay? And that, for me, is more dangerous. Because it doesn't matter what policy you are trying to implement. If you are incompetent, you're going to make a mess of it. It doesn't matter how draconian that policy is. If you are not competent enough, you make a mess of it. And that is what I see written over this administration up and down. Incompetence all over the place, The head of the fish is rotting. The whole body of the fish is condemned. Incompetence. It's not about the Project 2025. Look, I believe, even if they implement Project 2025 to its fullest, systematically, strategically, with a mindset of someone who know what they are doing, trust me, some of us who are the others will still find our ways and be better off. Okay? We've dealt with this in the past, and we're still here. But that is not my concern. I've always said it. My main concern is incompetence that is going to be written all over this administration, and you've seen it all. You've seen it from Doge that promised that they will actually save America 3 trillion, no, 6 trillion, they said, and 6 trillion suddenly come down to 1 trillion. And now they're talking about saving America 150 billion. And then you guys are celebrating they made success. Is that success? If you really hire someone to come and save you $10, and at the end of the day, he come up with 1 cent, you're going to call that success? You really gonna call that success? That's my concern. No other. It's just the incompetence, the sheer incompetence that is written all over this administration. That is exactly the doom that I see. Not about their policy. Not about their policy. Because every one of these policies will be taken to court and fought. And, it's not easy to implement all of these draconian policy. But you see, the competence that they lack is the real problem. And that is why we are looking like a mess. Thank you very much for listening for now. And I will catch up with you soon with another topic, definitely. And please take good care of yourself. Be at the safe hedge. And it's not going to be easy, but be prepared. And please be safe. Please, before you leave, don't forget to subscribe. And don't forget to like and share. And you can repeat these if you want. And we're going to play it all over again anyway, so you can see for yourself. We come up again with another topic. It's a Salah Blue signing out.